Hi, welcome to the SJ Child Show. Thanks for listening, and thanks to my viewers for joining and supporting. I sure appreciate all the love. And today I have a really great episode. Becky Fry, and she is a life coach. And not only just a life coach you can just look up on the internet. Well, you could, I'm sure, but she is a special kind of life coach, a life coach that helps moms of children on the spectrum. And it's something it's so needed in our community, and a service that moms just don't know that they have available to them. So, without further ado, thank you so much, Becky, for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to talk about the stuff that you do and your story. And, let's just start at the beginning. Like, give us an introduction and how this all got started for you.
Okay. So I am a mom of 4, and my 15-year-old son is severely autistic. So I guess it started 15 years ago. When my son was first diagnosed, I just had no idea. There was just so many questions, and I'm lucky. I have a super supportive husband, and I have lots of friends and, mom friends that I could talk to, but they, as supportive as they were, they just didn't quite understand exactly like what I was going through. And I couldn't really, there weren't other moms like for me to look to. When you have a typical developing child, you can just look around and see like different parenting skills and stuff, and like take what you need or find what you need. And I just felt really lonely, even though there were loving people around me. I just felt so alone, and like I just didn't really know where to go. So over the years, I had a therapist that I would go to sometimes, and I love therapy, but I mean, I don't know if we were really doing therapy. It was more me like venting and kind of just trying to figure out like
navigate your way through.
Go. Yeah. So, I mean, therapy was fine for me. It worked. But when I found out about life coaching, I was just like, aha, this is what I needed. Like, I wish I would have had this 15 years ago, because what I do as a life coach, and I mean, of course, I feel so passionate about moms who have children on the spectrum, because I am one, and I can like really relate to all those feelings and the overwhelm. And so what I love to do is listen, like let those moms vent, let them try and figure out how their thoughts are affecting the results that they're getting.
Love that.
And I love it. And there's nothing that any mom has told me that has been shocking to me, because we have been down this road.
Isn't that the truth? And especially when you can take your own experiences and then say, yes, I have been through something similar to this. And it really gives people that sense of connection, of that sense of not being isolated, not being alone on this island. Because it is so isolating. And oftentimes, lucky for you and for I, having great husbands who are understanding to the fact, and my husband being autistic is wonderful, because then I can view through his eyes and kind of look back at his childhood and say, okay, how can I be better for these guys than he got?
Yes. I love that. Yeah. That is great.
So it's so important that we give ourselves empowerment like this. Tell us about what kind of like the process that you go through with your clients.
Yeah. So, usually I don't have like an exact, like, this is how we're going to do it, because just like every child with autism is different. Every mom, the way she like processes it or what she needs is different too. So, first we just like I find out what she needs, where she's lacking. A lot of the moms that I work with are just overwhelmed. Like they don't know where to go next or what to do. And I don't really like, there's so many different resources to like work on what you're working on with your kids. That's not really what I do. I work with the mom.
Yeah. It's so important.
And figure out like what is it that's causing you to feel overwhelmed, and like talk about how, I mean, like I mentioned before, it's like the way you're thinking about it has such a huge impact on how you're feeling and what actions you're taking and whether or not you're getting the result you want. I mean, happiness is available to you right now, no matter how hard. And I get it. I have still every day, like there's really hard moments for me and my family. and I get it, and so I'm not trying to negate like how hard it is, but also you can be happy right now.
Yeah.
You can find peace in a chaotic life. And that is like my goal, that every mom that is struggling and feeling overwhelmed and all those negative emotions can also find out how to tap into their joy and their peace. Sometimes peace is like such a important word to me because I feel like my life's not peaceful a lot. It's a lot of chaos and like it's hard and there's things are happening a lot, but just knowing how to like figure out how to find that peace amidst all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
So it changed my life. And I love helping other moms find that too.
Oh, I love that. And it's so great when you find like minds and you're on like parallel journeys. You're like, have you been living next door? And we're like modeling each other's behavior or something. I think it's so fantastic because I completely agree. It was long before I even had kids. I was a stepmom actually before I had my own, but it was before I even like was really a parent that I really understood and started to realize the accountability that needed to start with me, that needed to start with my thoughts, with my actions, with my desires. And, it's so important that as adults, we try to model that type of behavior because it does affect everyone around us. And when we are constantly like repeating, victim stories or stories of information that is negative to us or that has harmed us, and it's just this constant cycle, as I'm sure you tell, the families that you work with, the only thing you're doing is bringing back more of that type of energy and in instances for you to keep learning how to get through.
Yeah.
And then finally you have the aha moment that you're like, this is my mindset. These are my constant retelling. And I love to say, like, speak your existence, which is, a known phrase. To really, it's so important that even as a family with autistic children, that does seem chaotic. And how could we even theorize that there would be a peaceful day or a happy day? It is right there under your nose, just like you said. And it comes within your mind frame.
Yeah. Yeah. And it might not be a whole peaceful day. It might just be a peaceful moment.
Amen.
And we get to like celebrate that, this peaceful minute or two.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really love to teach too is that it's okay. Like whatever your feelings are. So I am definitely not a coach that like wants to just be happy all the time. Like we are humans. This is hard. And I get it. And we have to just give ourselves a break, right? If you want to, like, if you want to cry and like feel really crappy about something that happened, then do it,
Yeah.
but just don't stay there. Don't stay there too long,
Exactly. Yeah.
like let yourself feel whatever you feel and really like get it out. And then, even sometimes I tell moms, give yourself a time limit.
Nice. I
For
like
the
that.
next hour, I'm going to scream and cry and
Hmm.
be upset about this. And then I'm going to stop and move on. And I'm going to think about what's good about my life right this moment,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
go forward.
Yeah. It made me think my brain just comes up with all these thoughts when people are talking about like you know, what could I add to that? What does that mean to me? What does that look like? And I love to say, journaling is great and can happen at any minute with any kind of device, with any kind of action. You can sing it, you could write it, you could color it, you can do whatever. It doesn't have to be pen to paper in a book that goes under your bed, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be the secret diary, but any way to, like you said, feel those emotions, like un take acknowledgement of them.
Mhm.
That way you can say, okay, is this going to help me move forward, or is
Mhm.
this making me stay stuck, or even move backwards? Like, we don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I think that that's really, and probably something that you also tell them is
Yes.
that.
So good. I love it. I love the singing. I've never told anyone that, but I would totally do that.
Yeah.
So that's good. I should use that.
It's
But
really interesting, isn't it? And
yeah.
I saw this. I'm so sorry. I just have to tell. I saw this
Yeah.
commercial that was. It's like a daughter comes home from school and she's really, really upset. And the mom says, "Are you okay?" And the daughter just is like, runs away and slams the door. And the daughter texts her mom a song representing the way she's feeling.
Oh.
And then the mom texts the daughter back a song representing like how you can get over it or whatever, to connect with them, to show
Mm.
that there are going to be times when it's impossible to talk through things at that moment.
Yeah, I love that. I
But
love songs.
yeah,
As a matter of fact, my Instagram is like I do song lyrics. So I love
really.
like, and then like, kind of life lessons through song lyrics. And so I love that. But, yeah. And I think, so I teach 5 simple steps to stop feeling overwhelmed. And one of them is that it's journaling, because I promise it's like magic. And
Yeah,
I resisted this for a long time because I'm like, I don't have time to like write down, stop my life
exactly.
and write something down. But once I really did it, and what I mostly do myself, what works for me is on my phone in the notes, I just type
Mm-hmm.
it because I always have my phone with me, or maybe I'm in the car or in the pickup line or whatever. And I can like, if you just unedit your thought, like no editing, you just like write everything that's in your soul at that moment and
Yeah.
just get it out of your brain. It is such a peaceful, like, it's just a really good tool to help you calm down.
Yeah.
And so I love that you brought that up. It's so good. It
Mm-hmm.
really works.
And
Everyone should try it.
it's self-care and it's easy. We just have to take advantage of it. And I
Yeah.
love being able to look at taking things for granted and taking advantage of things, because they are so similar but so different.
Yeah.
And we have to take it, those our time. We have to be expectations for other people, we have time for family time, things like that. But you don't need to take for granted the time that you do have for yourself in a line standing at the bank, right? take
Yes.
take a second. Like,
Yes.
I think, and I don't always do this. Don't look at me like the business. I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but that's a great thing to start thinking about, and maybe making a small goal for yourself to measure. Like,
Yes.
can I do, 3 little inputs of notes a week, maybe to
Yeah.
just stop? I mean, that's how many minutes in an entire week is that? Not very many.
Or
And
instead of
impactful.
stop yourself from scrolling on Facebook for 5 minutes, and instead go to your
Yes.
notes app and type in like all the things that come to mind.
Yeah.
It's just the trade off is so worth it, because
Yeah.
you will find yourself giving yourself that moment of peace and understanding. And like when you don't edit and you just write it all down and then you go back and read it, you have a lot of different like ideas for yourself, like, do I need to do this, or can I do this different? Or do I just want to be like this, feel like this right now for a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's so important when you're a mom, especially like just recently, I had to, attend a friend's funeral and memorial, and my daughter's never seen me go through any kind of a person being lost in our life, an animal, but not people. And so it was like, 4 days of on and off having emotional, and not like outbursts in any way, just feeling emotional and feeling solemn and just wanting to be by myself and wanting to kind of be. And not only, first of all, did that concern her because she wants to be with me all the time, but she didn't know how to process the information. And she said, but you didn't even know this person. Like, how could this even have been important to you? And I think at that moment, it's so important to not only realize that she hasn't had these experiences yet. Yeah. She doesn't know what the feelings are like inside, but also to give, myself still like, hey, I just need this time right now. And it's okay for her to see that. It's okay for her to see that I'm struggling or so that
good.
It's emotional.
It's good for her. What a beautiful teaching opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one you don't want to have to face, but yeah, definitely is.
But we all do, right?
Exactly.
It's just part of the human experience.
Life skills.
And your daughter might experience it totally different, but it's still like such a great opportunity for you to show her the possibilities and like that it's okay to feel whatever feeling you're feeling.
Exactly. That, yes, when I go to the grocery store, I'm smiling and waving and everybody's my friend. There are those moments when things are sad and things are overwhelming. And, I can preach on how great of a family and how successful our strategies are and everything. But believe me, I clean up a pile of salt or the bag of popcorn on the ground or the crushed Doritos under the bed every single day. And what I don't do is stay in those moments, complain about the situation or feel like I'm a victim of it. Because it's my children, my son is the one that's making the messes. He's not doing it intentionally. It's what we understand is just his process. Unfortunately, we need to strategize better with him, ways to do things differently, but that's on us, right? It's not on him to have these expectations.
Yeah. You're great though, because I complain about it sometimes.
I'm not saying I don't ever laugh. I totally did that last night. I was just like, look at this bed. It's bedtime and I'm cleaning up, popcorn everywhere. It's our son has just learned how to make himself microwave popcorn.
Oh,
and I mean, at 12, I'm so proud of him because like you understand that some life skills take a long time and making his own food has been one of those and eating different foods at that.
Yeah.
So when he wanted, I was like, hey, do you want to learn how to make popcorn for yourself? It was just like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But now I literally have popcorn everywhere. And it's not a great diet for him either, but it's like this choice that you have to make based on the happiness, right? The happiness level.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to fight
even
this?
Like sometimes I never thought I'd be a mom that's like, oh, great. Fish crackers. I'm so glad you're eating. Good
Seriously.
job, if that's all he's going to eat in that day, then I'm happy he's eating it. So I get you on that for sure. And I think, one of my favorite, things to say, I don't even know like really where this originated, but I like to remind myself, one of my favorite thoughts is, he's not giving me a hard time. He's having a hard time.
So good. Yes.
I mean, we have to constantly remind, because it's hard not to get upset about it. Yeah. I mean, if he like tosses the iPad or whatever,
yes,
like, it's hard not to like feel angry about that.
Mhm.
But I do try and get back. I really try and say that to myself in my brain in those hard moments.
Yeah.
Like, he's not giving you a hard time. He's having a hard time. And it kind of
Absolutely.
calms, like it like smooths out the rough edges a little.
Absolutely. No, I think that that's so true. And especially as they get older, because 15 and 12, those are still mighty different ages, and they are at quite different experiences at that point, going through puberty, already have been gone through puberty, things like that.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it's all so different, and everyone, like, it's a different experience. At the same time, it's all human behavior. It's all accessible to us through our thoughts and actions and how we are going to react. And I think that's the best thing that you as a life coach for these moms can help them to understand. And I think that there's a little bit of like an independence and an empowerment that comes with accountability. It's discipline.
Yeah.
But it's very like empowering.
Yeah. And I think it looks different for every child.
Sure.
Right. I mean, you talk about, when they're littles, like they're cute still. And, it's a little easier to like take that. And as they get older, I noticed with my son, I mean, because yes, we are in the throes of puberty and it has been challenging.
Yeah.
It has been challenging. But I also like, I think we can't judge ourselves for what we've done in the past, right?
Yeah,
we're just
so
learning.
true.
We are learning like they're learning and just kind of moving forward. And that's another favorite thing that I love to teach people that I work with is just stop judging yourself.
Yes.
It's okay. Like this is hard. It's hard and we're figuring it out. And as long as you keep trying and you love your child, and I mean, then just give yourself a break.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your best friend told you about something really hard that happened with their kid, you wouldn't be like, you should have been better at that.
Right.
Why do we talk to ourselves like that?
Yeah.
You should have done this or you should have done that. That's what we do to ourselves,
Yeah.
Instead, like we could be like, okay, that was hard. I didn't love the way I handled that. What can I do next time?
Absolutely. Right. What can I do next time? Because knowledge is power.
Yes.
And it is so important that we try to take the next step to be better, okay, now that I know, I can be better. It's so important.
As long as we're always trying to move forward and do the best we can, then it's all fine,
And what a interesting ride it is, as we say, move forward, but take a break, slow down. Now stop here, but keep moving. Don't stop.
Quite a journey, right?
Yeah, it certainly is. And it can be summed up so many different ways. But like you said, the most powerful thing you can do is desire happiness and make those changes to be happy. And that doesn't look like a perfect day every day. Like you said, maybe it's a moment, that happens or something, but those things to don't take for granted, take advantage of, right?
Yeah. And I think too, like when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're really feeling in the thick of it and so overwhelmed, I think it's helpful to just ask yourself, like, what's the next best step I can take in this moment? Like we try and look at the whole picture and like think of all the things that have to change or be done, or, it's very overwhelming. But if you can just like slow down and like breathe and think, what's the next best step I can take right now? That'll just put you closer to where you need to be, right? You don't have to do it all at once. Just do one little thing. If it's take a nap, then go take a nap.
Absolutely. Right.
If it's, call the school, then call the school, but you don't have to think of like the whole thing at once. That is overwhelming.
Isn't it though? And parents so often get caught in that, especially when they're, I think, newly diagnosed at a very young age. They just really want to so badly see the outcome and see how will this be different or how will it be easier? And they don't understand. And it's just about being on the journey at that. And at that moment, you don't even know where the light is shining on the path. And so you're looking around, right?
Yes.
Is there any pebbles or breadcrumbs thrown around anywhere? And I think that getting information for the things that you offer to these moms are those breadcrumbs. These are the breadcrumbs we're providing for this community. These are the services that they have available to them. There are so many more services today than there were 15 years ago.
Yes, totally.
Than there were 10 years ago. That now I'm like, oh man, gluten-free, dairy-free back in 2000, whatever that was tricky stuff, right? I was like going through all of the breads and they were all horrible. Bless their hearts. But they everything has improved. And throughout the next years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, things will improve. And it's hard to see that now. But maybe that's when you make connections with other moms in the community. You find the groups to belong to that are positive and that have meaning and value, and stay away from the ones that don't. Stay away from the ones that you feel uncomfortable, or if somebody, just stay away from
that. Might work for someone, but that doesn't work for me, and it's totally fine. I love that you brought up at diagnosis, right? Because I think I know I did. Like it comes from a place of love. Like you want to do all the things, like how can I give him the best opportunity possible? So you are trying to do all the things. And I think what I have learned over the years is that it's okay. Just take one thing at a time, take what works for you. Don't use the things that don't work for you. There is no set process that is going to be the best thing. So your child is different than every other child, and your family is different than every other family. And you just I just try and move through everything with love, show up with love and try and figure out what would love do in this moment and what works and what doesn't. It doesn't make anybody else wrong or you right or vice versa. It's all just part of the journey. Just take one step at a time in the journey. And that's, sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, whatever, but it all it's good. It's all information. If something doesn't work, then you figure out it doesn't work and then you try something else. So that's good too. And I feel like we've had a whole 15 years of that, you don't just beat yourself up over the things that didn't work. I mean, you figured it out. They don't work. What will? Let's try something else,
Exactly. And finding, really paying attention to your child's interests, to your child, and really make those interests into their strengths, because then you can back up any challenges that they're having. And a good example of that is maybe Minecraft video games, right? All the kids like Minecraft video games, all that stuff. And when we've been doing online school for the last 2 years, as so many families have been too. And during the, 3rd grade multiplication table learning that was with my dyslexic 9-year-old, I was like, how could this be harder? I'm 40. How can I not do this right? And there we are again, beating ourselves up. Then it dawned on me, what if I let her build multiplication tables in Minecraft? What if I used her strengths in design and in building and all of those things that she's brilliant at, and allow that to be the learning process? And guess what? It's amazing. It's so amazing when we show our kids, hey, this thing that you're really good at, let's lean into this. And hey, let's use it for this over here. Let's try it out in this way. And it's made a huge difference.
I mean, as an autism mom, I can 100% say it has made me so creative.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
I mean, you make up things that you never would have dreamed up before, right? Just to see what works for your kiddo. And
absolutely.
I mean, it's so important to know like what they need. And it's also just as important, or maybe more important, to know what you need, to know yourself and how you can use your strengths to help them progress.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Be the modeling behavior, be the the one that shows them it's okay to struggle, it's okay to fall, but you get back up and this is how you respond to things. And like you said, look at it with love and kindness and just be your best, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's been so nice talking to you today. I feel so honored and excited that we got to make this connection.
Yes.
Tell
Thank you.
me where we can find you. Do you have a website, social medias, all that good stuff?
Yes, I do. So the name of my coaching business is Unabridged Life Coaching. My son's name is Bridger. And unabridged means complete. So I thought that was perfect.
I love that.
So unabridgedlifecoaching.com is my website. You can join me on Instagram or Facebook at Unabridged Life Coaching. I would love to see anybody there that wants to just like feel like somebody gets it.
Yes.
That's what we do there.
Absolutely.
And yes, and on my website, I do have the five simple steps to stop feeling overwhelmed. So if somebody wants to log in there and join my email list, then I'll send them the 5 steps. And they really are simple things that it's just a reminder of these small things that we can do to make life feel so much better.
Yeah.
So I would love to share that with anybody that wants it too.
Thank you. And it is so important to have those reminders. I think that they're so important. I make vision boards so I can keep my reminders close to my.
Yes, I love that.
I've been putting them as graphics and putting them on my wallpaper so that once I log into my computer,
I love it.
It's right there. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much again, Becky. It was wonderful to connect.
You bet. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
We'll definitely be in touch.
Okay, perfect.